Hi, Dave Roscoe here. It is Thursday, May 29th, 2025, and I'd like to give a shout out to Pi moderator SRVIVRJ. This is a moderator who does a great job, keeps his cool, and actually tries to help people. Several times a day, I go on the Pi chat forum and provide updates on migrations because a lot of people ask about migrations and they don't believe the moderators when they say that migrations are happening. So my updates provide proof that it is, and to give them some hope that maybe they will be migrated at some point really soon. And several of the moderators have expressed appreciation for that. And moderator SRVIVRJ, that's quite a mouthful, is one of them that has expressed interest. And he reached out to me, I assume it's a he, I apologize if I'm wrong, asking if I knew of any way that we could help these people who found their wallets scammed. They gave away their passphrase and they know that as soon as their Pi unlocks, it's going to disappear. And this is a very complex problem because these scammers have bots and they're just sitting there waiting for your unlock. And without requiring the Pi app at all, they can work directly on the blockchain, claim your balance, and transfer it to another wallet. And it happens very quickly. We're talking within seconds. It got me thinking, and I have developed a script that will give some hope to people in this situation. The idea here is to have another script watching these wallets and attempting to transfer those balances to a safe wallet before the scammers can get it. I've recently started testing this script. It's kind of hard because the unlocks are minimum 14 days. So I have to be very creative with how I test it. There's no guarantee it'll work. These scripts operate very fast, so it's a question of who gets there first. But even if my script helps 1 in 10 or 1 in 100 people, that's somebody who would have lost their Pi otherwise. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. If it's successful, I'll definitely be posting success stories here. But shout out to SRVIVRJ because he shows real concern for the Pi users. I know he must get frustrated listening to this all day long when it's people making mistakes. But he cares, and that's why he gets the shout out today. I also want to talk about an interesting situation that a user made me aware of that I want to share with you. And it could represent a potential conflict of interest, but I don't know. We'll talk about that in a bit. And I also want to talk about the wallet problems that people have been reporting since yesterday. So we'll get to that. But first, the metrics. The circulating supply is 7.26 billion Pi, with 43,147 user accounts migrated in the last 24 hours, representing 12.3 million Pi. There is currently 41.6 million Pi in the Pi migration wallet. The Pi migration unlocked rewards is at 2.05 billion Pi, with 7.8 million Pi unlocked in the last 24 hours and free to be traded on the open markets. Looking at the price action, the Pi coin is currently trading at 70 cents, which is down 4.31% from this time yesterday. The market cap is at 5.11 billion, which is down 4.0% since yesterday. The daily trading volume is at $104.3 million, which is up 24%, and that's a little bit of an improvement. But as you can see, the price has taken a steady drop and is now hovering at around the 70-cent mark. Who knows where this is going to go? We have a lot of unlocks coming in and volume is low. It appears buying interest is low. So we'll just have to see how it goes. As I mentioned, a user made me aware of a situation that may or may not be anything, but it feeds into the idea of transparency that is sorely lacking by the Pi core team. This first document here is a filing with the state of California for a company called MyriadHub Inc. And it was filed in 2017 before the Pi network rolled out. Now, it's a California company, but as you can see, it's registered in Delaware. A lot of companies do this because Delaware has a very favorable regulatory environment. Because they register out of state, they have to file a statement and designation by foreign corporation. In this case, foreign does not mean international, it just means out of state. And I've blocked out the address here because this is a personal home and I don't want to compromise any personal information. But as you can see, this company is owned by Chengdiao Fan. Now, when you look at some of the information, MyriadHub Inc. is a stock company, which is kind of interesting. Now, it says here, statement of info due date was 2022, and that's true. There was actually another document that flagged this, and then a later extension granted. So this here doesn't really mean anything. But as you can see, it's Chengdiao Fan that is the owner of this corporation. The corporation itself is run out of a private residence, and that's not unusual. I myself used to run a business out of my home, and the reason you incorporate is to protect your personal assets from your business in case of things like bankruptcy or lawsuits. It's just common practice. You just do that to make sure you don't lose your home and all of your personal assets. Looking at this next document, you see another registered company, Social Chain Inc., which is in fact the parent company of the Pi network. And this one was incorporated in 2018. Once again, registered in Delaware for the same reason. And once again, I've also blocked out the address, but once again, owned by Chengdiao Fan. And this image here gives you more information about MyriadHub and shows that as of March of this year, this company is still active. MyriadHub Inc., a stock corporation, is a business entity located in East Palo Alto, California, officially filed on June 15th, 2017. And the owner is Chengdiao Fan. Now, I don't know if this means anything at all. It's possible that they need a stock company in order for the Pi network to work with crypto exchanges. I don't know. It was started before the Pi Foundation, and is still active. But it's something that should be more readily accessible in the spirit of transparency. This user went through quite a bit of effort to dig up this information, and it's all public, but it's not something that most people will look for. So like I said, I'm not saying there's anything wrong here. It's just interesting and people should know about it. Let's talk about the problems that popped up with wallets yesterday. I sent out a brief update yesterday just to keep people from panicking. A lot of people noticed that in their mainnet checklist, step number 3 was suddenly showing orange, requiring re-verification of the wallet. And for most people, this went without a hitch. You entered your passphrase and box went green again. But for a lot of people, that wasn't the case. When you entered your passphrase in, it went to your wallet and nothing else happened. And then they were told that they had to complete two-factor authentication, and the box remained orange. Now that's a problem because it blocks them from being eligible for migration, and the two-factor authentication was not available to them. Obviously, this is something that is flooding the Pi support in-app chats. It was made very clear that the Pi network devs are aware of this and they are working on a fix. So the next question is, why did this happen? There was a new app update, but this problem came up several days later, which means that they probably changed some code under the hood that impacted the current app. And that can happen because a lot of the Pi backend is web-based, so you don't have to necessarily have a new app for changes to take place. And I noticed something else too on my own wallet, and I took a screenshot of it and showed it in my video. In your mainnet wallet, under certain circumstances, the balances would all show test Pi. That's new. The fact that it showed up in the mainnet wallet means that there was some change here that is screwing everything up. And I know it's got a lot of people panicking. Some people were saying that this was a sign that second migrations were getting underway, and that's just not the case. There is roughly 9 million users in the first migration backlog. There's going to be a long wait before second migration occurs. I don't expect it to happen before the end of the year. I wouldn't get too excited about that, but I also wouldn't panic about this particular bug. My suggestion is to periodically check your checklist and try to re-verify your mainnet wallet and see if the two-factor authentication process becomes available. Like I said, the PyCore team is working on this, and they will have a resolution. Well, that's all I've got for today. If anything happens, I'll be sure to hop back on here and let you all know. But until then, don't panic, stay the course, and remember, the success of the Pi network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.